Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins, and today I'm talking with Michelle Spray. Michelle is the author of Lost Memories, Found Hope, a fictional depiction about her grandmother's journey with Alzheimer's disease. Michelle is an additional needs mum living in Connecticut with her husband and their 4 children, and she is also a scoliosis warrior. Her memoir, Growing Up with Scoliosis, became her first book on her journey as an author. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for coming on Book Talk Radio Club.
Thank you, Claire. Hi.
Hi. Would you like to give Book Talk Radio Club's listeners a brief outline of the story of Lost Memories, Found Hope?
Sure. Lost Memories, Found Hope is a story of a young woman named Jillian who finds herself in this wonderful, funny, loving, terribly sad, all the emotions of becoming a primary caregiver for her aging grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And little did she know, or anyone know, that slowly as grandma became forgetful, bouncing checks, misplacing her teeth, that the adventure would be called Alzheimer's.
Right. But this is actually the story of your experience of looking after your grandmother, isn't it? Why did you decide to write it as a fictional depiction rather than true life or a memoir, as it were?
Yes, Jillian is basically me, and grandma is unapologetically grandma.
Mm.
Her tact, her bluntness, and I vowed to stay true to her character no matter what point of view I chose. So I started writing the book while it was happening, and that's why all the incidents in the book are so vivid. But in attempting to write the book several times over the course of many years, it was too painful.
Right.
So changing the book over to fiction allowed a barrier for me to embellish and combine characters and events, and allowed me to focus on funny things that happen and tell my grandmother's story in the most authentic way. And so actually the original story was actually about 400 pages long until my editor got a hold of it and turned it into the novella that it turned out to be. But I was my grandmother's primary caregiver for 6 years. So a fictional depiction allowed me to change things along the way.
Right. So tell me, what is Alzheimer's disease? I mean, most people have heard of it, but what actually is it?
Well, I'll leave a lot of that for the doctors to explain, but it's regarding neurons that communicate with the rest of the body.
Right.
So, in one word, it's awful. Seth Rogen of Hilarity for Charity calls Alzheimer's brutal, and yeah, he's absolutely correct. And until you've been there firsthand, you don't really know. You think it's just someone waiting for the mailman who already came, or someone forgetting where they put something and repeating something over and over. And it is those things, but it's more. So eventually, Alzheimer's shrinks that part of the brain that tells the muscles or the organs what to do. So imagine the brain not knowing how to tell your body how to swallow. So it's really a slow death. That's why they call it the long goodbye. What's scarier is this statistics. And they say between now and 2050 that more than 28 million baby boomers in the United States will develop Alzheimer's. And that's why research is so important.
And I was reading on Twitter from the Alzheimer's Society on their page. It said, we all had talents before dementia and we still have them. I mean, it's very hard to realise that the poor people suffering from this awful disease had full lives, were parents, children, brothers and sisters, lovers, wives and husbands. The disease seems to dehumanise them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's sad all around.
Mm.
It's worse for the family and the close friends to watch.
Yeah.
It's best when they don't know what's happening to themselves, because it's confusing and scary to not know that you're in your own neighborhood or your own house.
Sure.
and they can lash out in anger, or they could be scared, or they could think that you're a stranger in their home.
Dreadful. I mean, how,
Yeah.
how how fast was your grandmother's decline with Alzheimer's? Did you notice it on a day-to-day basis?
Well, at first, and it's very interesting because a lot of people live with dementia. It's very important to note that they live with dementia and nobody knows it, but they can be fully functioning for many, many years. So at first, we thought she was just silly, like forgetful. It was silly. It was funny. Oh, grandma, it was just her.
Yeah.
But then she got easily confused doing easy things like the checkbook, and then it became bigger things like not wanting to take a shower or getting lost going to the store. So it was pretty progressive.
Right. Right. But it wasn't. You didn't notice new things on a day-to-day basis then.
Yeah. Eventually, as it got worse, um, it was forgetting her teeth or accusing me of stealing her teeth or her hearing aid.
I mean, it sounds funny, but it's not, of course. Of
Right.
course, it's not. Can you give Book Talk Radio Club's listeners an idea of your average day as a carer and what it involved?
Well, I was trying to balance college and a boyfriend and a job and running home to feed my grandmother lunch and dinner every day,
Wow.
until I realized it wasn't safe for her to be home alone.
Right.
And eventually, I was trying to bathe her, and she was screaming help and 911 out the window and pulling my hair and digging her nails into my skin and telling me that she didn't soil herself while I was trying to clean her up. So at the beginning, it was just forgetfulness. We were like roommates, and
Mm.
at the end, she was my child.
Oh, I think you're absolutely amazing, Michelle. I really
Oh,
do.
thank you.
As her grandmother's condition worsens, and reasoning with her is something Gillian, your fictional caregiver, is unable to do because reasoning requires a higher cognition level, Gillian concludes that arguing serves no purpose, and like so many in the caregiving role, she tries her best to enter into her grandmother's reality instead of forcing the older woman into a reality that hadn't existed in quite some time. That can't have been easy.
Yeah, there's a scene or scenes in the book where my character Jillian tries to explain to Grandma who she is. Grandma, it's me. It's me. Don't you understand that it's me? And she takes framed photos from the top of the console TV and tries to convince her who everyone is. And Grandma would just say, "If you say so,"
Mm,
or arguing about waiting for the mailman who already came. And it upset her more. It upset anybody else around more. That's why I wanted to put it in the book to help others going through the same situation and realizing how to handle it. Um, you can't argue with them because it doesn't help. It just gets everyone frustrated. And but coming to the point and realizing that this is your new reality is one of the hardest on the journey.
right.
Yeah, and that's why we hold on. We try for way too long. So it's that little word of hope.
Mm.
In the end, it's the only thing that gets us through. You can only hope that today will be a better day.
Speaking to her grandma in absentia, Gillian says, the hardest times were in your moments of clarity when you knew what was happening to you. From what I understand, once a patient is unaware of the fact that they have Alzheimer's, life tends to get emotionally better for them. However, I would imagine it to be true that the carer loses more of their loved one bit by bit.
And this is really hard.
Yeah.
At the beginning, Grandma knew she couldn't remember things, and it frustrated her.
Yes.
And even at the end, she would get agitated or yell or scream if she was scared of something. But it was very much like a toddler. Um, some people with Alzheimer's can simply sit and play a game or some other activity over and over, sing a song, and be perfectly happy in their own little world,
Yeah.
lost. But either way, the person in front of you isn't the person that you know, and they have no idea who you are, and that hurts deeply.
Yeah.
You just want them to know you, and you're watching them slip away. So it's grieving for the loss of a person who's still here,
Yeah.
but not.
Yeah, I know my mum always tells me that because her mother had Alzheimer's. I don't remember it, but she said exactly that. She grieved for her mum, my grandma, before she'd even died.
Yeah,
Because, although of her physically I can't remember what it was now, but I know she said mentally she'd gone a long time before physically she'd gone.
yes.
So, what would be the best piece of advice you would give to a person caring for a loved one suffering from Alzheimer's?
Get help. Ask for help. Take the help that people are offering. Find respite services, support groups. It really takes a toll on you, and you're no good to anyone if you're not taking care of yourself.
And
So
especially the person you're trying to take care of.
that's exactly true. So if you can have someone stay one night a week,
Yeah.
so you can get a full night's sleep, just
Mm,
one night, or have someone come for an hour so you can go out for an hour without worrying. You just
mm.
have to take care of yourself.
Your bio describes you as a scoliosis warrior. What is scoliosis?
The term warrior is pretty common in the scoliosis community. Scoliosis is a progressive curvature of the spine, and I had it growing up. So I had back braces, and I had a spinal fusion surgery with rods and pins, and I had all of that. So to come out of that qualifies you as a warrior.
I can believe it. So, growing up with scoliosis became your first book on your journey as an author. And we'll talk more in depth about that during your next Book Talk Radio Club interview. But briefly, why did you decide to write a book about it?
Growing up with scoliosis was my diary.
Ah,
So it started when I was diagnosed in fifth grade, and when I was 16, I had the surgery. So it was a very long journey, and I wrote down all my emotions. And when I was done and healed, I graduated high school. I realized it could be a book to help other kids with scoliosis. And
absolutely.
Lost Memories actually started as my journal. It started the same way.
Right. You've got 4 kids, two of which have endured multiple surgeries and procedures. How on earth do you ever find the time to write, Michelle? I mean, everything you've been through, it's amazing. You're still writing.
I am. Well, we're lucky enough to have been able to seamlessly blend our families together. So my 2 children, my husband's two children, but it's still hectic. We have 4 schools and 4 bus schedules and countless doctor's appointments. But
Goodness.
I joke that I get things done in 5-minute increments. So an overnight hospital stay with machines beeping in my ear, whatever, and the crack of dawn before everyone wakes up is actually my favorite time to write when everyone's still asleep.
Your books are all geared towards helping both children and adults alike that are going through difficult times or are going through your experiences. As you write, do you find it to be cathartic?
I tend to relive things very vividly. So my relief comes after the book is done and when I realize it can help someone else going through the same thing.
Right.
Or when readers take the time to write me and thank me. It's amazing to know that I've helped someone, that I can be there for someone in my own little way just by sharing a part of my story.
I understand that completely. So, what's next on the book front for Michelle Spray? I mean, are you in the process of writing at the moment?
Right now, I'm marketing my children's book about bravery, and I'm finishing a sequel to my Life's Reasons poetry book, and I have several novels in my head based on all of my life's experiences, with special needs parenting, divorce, and I have one that I hope to be funny on online dating. We'll see how that goes.
That's wonderful. So, where can Book Talk Radio Club listeners purchase Lost Memories, Found Hope?
It can be found on Amazon in print or ebook, and it's free on Kindle Unlimited.
Right.
And readers can click on Amazon and type in Michelle Spray Books, where all my books will come up, or on Goodreads, and I'd love a review there as well.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, Michelle. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club again when you publish
Thank
your
you
next
so
book.
much.
I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.